Hi everybody, it is Lori Bradley and I am here in St. Louis, Missouri, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And it's one of those days at my house. If you notice, it's not my usual background. I am sitting at my kitchen island. I loaned out my usual Facebook Live table to my former neighbor. She's doing flowers for a wedding, so she needed some table space. So we are making do with what we have. I had some scraps laying on my desk, on my shelf, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to use those. So that's where we're going today. I'm going to use one particular bundle to use those. But before we get started with those, I just want to tell you that the new reward system is live. Every order that you place that is $20 or more, you will get 10% in rewards, and you can use that on your next order. Which is very exciting. It's a big deal. Instead of Hostess Rewards, they have switched that to Customer Rewards, and I think it's going to be a great system for everybody because everybody gets rewarded, and I'm always about getting free stuff for everybody. So that's the big excitement. The other, little craziness at my house is we have a German exchange student for 2 weeks. He's here for 17 days, and he's been here since Friday, so we are on day 6, I think. And so that's been a lot of fun. Yesterday we went to the St. Louis Arch. If you haven't been in the Arch, my kids haven't. I've been twice with German kids, but never with my own children. I'm a bad mom. And the MLS Stadium downtown, and today they're going to History Museum and all kinds of fun things. They're here in exchange, and then our kids will go there in June. So that's a little bit exciting at our house right now. So let's make some cards. Like I said, we're going to use scraps, and we're going to use the Something Fancy bundle. And that's the bundle that I chose. It's actually on the last chance list, so the stamp set and the dies are separate, but they are great. I love a good sentiment bundle because you can pair it with anything. You can use an embossing folder, slap a sentiment on it, and go with it. Or you can dress it up a little bit. And so we're going to make 2 cards with the dies and the stamp set, and one is just going to be the stamp set. So let's do it. Turn you around. Hopefully my placement is correct because I'm in a different spot, and the live video has been doing a little bit weird. It's farther away than what it had been, so I'm not sure what that is all about. All right, so this card, you know what, let's just start with our note card. We'll just start with the note card. I'm not going to show you all the cards. I had some scraps of In Color Family Color Designer Series paper, and I had the 6x6 paper. These patterns are actually going away in May. Let me move this light a little bit to see if we can get rid of some of that glare. There we go. Hopefully you can still see. And so I had some scraps, and I thought, what can I do with these? So I just chose the colors that I had scraps for. I made one with Lost Lagoon. It's just a kind of a simple thank you card. You could do it with any size scrap. You could do it with whatever you have. So my other scrap that was the same width was actually Highland Heather. So my card that I'm going to make for you right now is actually Highland Heather. And since it's a thank you card, I'm just going to use the note cards. Do that in half. And I think it's 2 inches, I think is what I determined. It's a 2-inch strip. We can do so many things with this. We could cut it in half. We could do more than one. But I was like, you know what? We are going to cut it so that it is the same length as our panel, and that would be 4 3/4. So I'm going to cut it at 4 3/4. I'm going to have this upside down so you feel like you're on your head. There we go. So I've got my 4 3/4 panel. Now I still have another scrap that I'll have to figure out something else to do with it. But I'm going to glue that down onto my white panel. Just going to do that a simple, I can use the stripes or I can use the flower. Either one. If you're watching and you have an opinion, sorry for the ambulance in the background, you can let me know one way or the other. While you think about that, the stripes or the flower. You know what? I did the flower on this one. Let's do the stripes. Let's make this one the stripes. Okay. So I'm just going to glue that onto my white panel. This is the simple thank you card version, and sometimes you just need a simple card. 10 minutes or less and make your card and go on about your business. Okay, so I've got that, and I realized that I forgot to reset my thing here. Let me fix my computer so I can actually see my video. Sorry. I want to make sure I can see your comments if you have one. All right, so there's that part. Now, to make it add a little bit of fun, I'm going to just add a strip of the white 1/4 inch ribbon, or 3/8 inch. Okay. Oh no, it's a 1/4 inch. And I'm just going to tape that right across there just to add a little bit of texture to that. Just start it on the back right where we want it. I haven't shown you our bundle yet, but any sentiment bundle with this type of thing would work. So I'm going to place that where I want it. I'm going to put my tape on there. Bring it down. I'm just going to cover up that line so it's not so obvious. And then I'm going to tape it on the back. If you were just joining me today, we are using up some of the scraps of stuff that I had laying around on my tables and on my desk, because sometimes finding things to do with those scraps is a little bit crazy. Okay, or a little bit difficult. It's not crazy. I'm crazy. But okay, so now I'm going to stamp the thank you on the inside so that if I mess it up, then we can flip it to the other side. Hey Robin, thanks for joining me. You'll notice I'm in a different spot today. I had to move off of my tables because my neighbor has my white tables that I work on to do flowers for a wedding. So I just moved to the island today. I wish I was on a tropical island, but anyway. Okay, so I've got the thank you on the inside. It looks good. We can go ahead and we can glue this piece down also. We're going to glue it onto our Highland Heather panel. And again, my strip was 2 inches, but any width of a strip would be perfect. There's no right, no wrong. Whatever you have in your packet. For some reason, I had several 2-inch strips. I'm not sure what I made with those, but anyway, we have 2-inch strips. Okay, now we've got our panel. I can actually go ahead and put it all the way onto our card. And then we can put that together. Next week we'll be back in our regular spot in the house. Okay, so I have die cut. I have the Something Fancy stamp set, which is a great sentiment stamp with lots of great words. Sympathy, birthday, congratulations, thank you, happy wedding type thing. And the one I'm going to use today is I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration because, yeah, that happens kind of a lot around here. But I don't really forget. I just don't get the card in the mail, and then, you know, it happens. Okay, so the dies, there's all kinds of different sentiment dies that can have a mat. There's tags. There's like little cut your opening on your tag to run your ribbon through. A cute little hexagon that the thank you fits on, and then an angled banner. So these are great. And I believe, actually, I know they're on the last chance product list, but I believe that they are discounted a little bit as well. All right, so for this one, I chose this shape, and I have there it is, the matte piece. So we're going to stamp, may the good you do come back to you. I think that's very nice. And it only fits on this one vertically. So we're going to stamp that. Right in the middle. Okay. I hadn't tried this with the purple. I'm glad that my purple ink pad was juicy enough, because my Granny Apple Green one this morning was not, so I had to refill it. All right, so it's 2 sizes. We're going to go ahead and put that together, and I'm going to put this right on top of our line there. I'm going to put that on dimensionals. Trying my hardest to get rid of this sheet of dimensionals. You don't have to cover the whole back. Some of the corners will be fine. This is a small piece, so you don't need a whole lot. Put that right about here. We could also put it this direction if we wanted to. And I think I'm going to leave it vertically because when I do this, I feel like this piece might be a little too long for that. I feel like if I was going to do this, I should have done that on half, if that makes sense. Or you know what? Oh, I have to do it that way because I already stamped thank you. Whew, glad I caught that. All right, so we're going back this way. I almost had a moment there. Okay, now I have out here, and these are also on the last chance list. The new annual catalog starts May 6th, Tuesday, May 6th, so that is coming. But I want to show you all the great things that are leaving. There's so many fun things that are leaving that I feel like are great things. So I'm just going to use the iridescent, called the iridescent faceted gems, and I'm just going to put some of those, you know what? And these catch most any color. You can see that. They're beautiful. They pick up pinks and yellows and greens and purples, and let's just, yeah, let's add a couple. Let's bling it up. Over here. There we go. May the good you do come back to you, and thank you. Okay, so there's the Highland Heather, and there's the Lost Lagoon. Super simple. Again, use the scraps, and we are happy. Now I can send thank you cards. All right, so that's that pack of paper that I found that was scrappy. Then the next pack that I found was the Flowering Beauty. Let me show you this pack. Literally, this whole pack was a bunch of scraps. I used this for a retreat. I used it for a class. I had some extra things. I had all of these scraps. So that scrap is 2 inches. I could have done the same thing with this one, but I had a couple of smaller strips that are 1.5 inches. So I'm going to use those for this one. And so what I'm going to do, and then I've already cut the map for that, but I wanted to show you that I just had this strip of paper. Let's turn it around. I'm not sure why my camera is so far away. Like, I didn't do anything different, and when I practiced it to look at it, it was normal. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. So I apologize that you're seeing my desk, or my kitchen counter, actually. All right, so I've got 1.5 by 1.5. I'm just gonna get 3 squares. My original thought was to do them in a line, but that didn't work out. So we're gonna make a little bit of a fun pattern with our scraps. Okay, I'll glue these onto the Summer Splash mats that I already cut, so they're a little bit bigger than our paper. I'm going to use the flower side on all of them, although this side would have been fun too, but I don't think it goes necessarily with the Summer Splash. And I have a tiny little border because I don't want the border to be the star of the show, but I want it to show just a little bit. Pam, I was digging out scraps. I found a stack of 1/2-inch strips inside my stamp cabinet, and I thought, what can I do with these? And so I have a plan for that one. That's the last one. But then I was like, wait, I have scraps of designer series paper too, and so I can show you some of the things to do with this. Scrap Queen. I think that's a fun title. I think I might go with that. All right, so I have my three squares here. Now we are going to find my sample. I set it down, and I'm gonna need that for sure. It's right here. It has to be. All right. Well, I seriously have not been anywhere. This happens to me like regularly. One thing that I'm looking for is not here. Ooh, that's kind of scary. Okay, so we are going to stamp our card. Now, I've got 2 sizes of the white. I've got one that is, I believe this one's 4 by 5 1/4, and then this one is 3 3 3/4 by 5. I'm just going to lay those down on top of each other. My card is not going to be the same as the other one because I'm not sure what I did with it. Hopefully I can remember. I want it to be a little bit offset. And we're going to stamp both layers at the same time, but part of it's not going to show. Okay, so I'm going to start with my big Summer Splash flower. And I'm just going to go around the edge, but I'm going to hold down my top sheet. I don't want to put any adhesive on it because I don't want it to stick really. I just want to make sure that I cover it. So I've got my mat placed where I want it, and then I'm going to, and I always say don't rock, but in this case I'm going to have you rock a little bit just to make sure that that bottom layer gets the ink, okay, just so it goes down. And I don't want a whole lot of these flowers. I'm just going to do a couple around the outside edges, okay, and then maybe one more. But again, I'm going to rock it just a little bit so that it goes down on that lower level as well. Okay, I'm going to set that one aside for a minute, and then I'm going to come back in. I have the same stamp on, or 2 stamps on 1 block. Wish me luck. Okay, now I'm going to use the Petunia Pop, which is also one of last year's in colors, and I'm going to put those just kind of around where we just did that. We're going to rock it again, just to make sure. Just like that. Maybe I put one up here. I didn't want a whole big flower up here, but I wanted just a little bit. Okay, then I've got another one on the back, the little tiny flowers. So let's just add a couple of those randomly. I do those flat just for ease. Okay, now looks a little weird, right? So you're wondering what in the world is Lori doing here? Before I go any farther though, I want to do my sentiment. I'm going to do that in Summer Splash, and I'm going to use this small little happy birthday. And you're probably wondering, well, that's kind of lame. Why are you using that? But we're going to stamp it. I have to scoot it toward me just a little bit so I can see. I'm going to stamp it right about here. Okay. So we've got our sentiment. It's straight. We have our other pieces. Now, I want to make it a little bit special. So, I'm going to use my scoreboard. I don't use it very often, but I think it's kind of cool. And I saw a card that used this, and it's just a little bit of scoring. And I'm going to put it up in the corner, and I'm just going to score the first inch. And it's super simple. You just take the stylus, hold your paper in place, and move down that crease. I'm going to do that every 1/8 of an inch for the first inch of my cardstock. All the way down, just like that. You don't want to push too hard because you don't want to tear your paper. But, all right, and that's why I stamped it beforehand so that we could, now you can see that it's got a little bit of texture down that left side. Okay, actually, let's do a couple more, just for fun. No right or wrong. Nobody's going to count my score lines. All right, so I've got my lines. I'm ready to go. That's all I need for my scoreboard. I'll put that over here. All right, now this piece is going to go on the bottom piece. See, I wanted that to be, this piece to be flat and this piece to have some texture. Okay, so now I have it so that I've got that. You know what, let's go ahead and put this piece on. We're just gonna put dimensionals around the outside edges. Scoreboard is so handy, but I just don't think to get it out that often. I'm going to do a little dance. I just used my last piece of that dimensional. So I'm going to have to bring out a mini. But the scoreboard is, it's first of all, you can score your cards in half if you have your card base and you want to make sure that your lines are straight. You can make fun patterns on your paper like this. You could make a faux plaid on there. You could do so many things with it. All right, now we're just going to line up our flowers back to where we were. So the front piece will stick up just a little bit, but it gives it enough depth that it's separate. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that on our Petunia Pop card base. Glue that down. You could do this, you could have done this first if you wanted to before you put that top piece, but since we're here, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put that right on the top. All right, so now we've got some pattern going. It's a little, not quite as boring as it could have been. All right, now my original plan was to put 3 of these across, but guess what? My scraps were too big. So I'm just going to place them randomly, sort of willy-nilly, no right, no wrong, and then I'm going to pop 1 up, okay? So I'm going to do it like this, and then like that, just to cover in some space. Kind of a fun, different sort of pattern. I already had the squares, so we're just going to put those on. And then the third one I'm going to put on dimensionals. So I'm going to put this one maybe right about there. And this one right about there. And then we'll put dimensionals on the back of this one. So now my 1.5 inch strip, I've used 6 pieces because my first card had my sample had 3 of these squares, and this one has 3, so it's a great way to use those up. We could have done a strip like this. So many things to do with the scraps. All right, and then I'm going to put this one. Let's see. Let's move it over just a little bit. Just like that. Now, I want a little bit of bling. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use these iridescent faceted gems again because they're retiring. They make me happy, and I need to use them, right? And then, let's see. Let's put one over here. Well, this one's going to have 5. This is a birthday card. We're going to make it pretty. There we go. So we filled in all of those blank spaces. We made it kind of fun. I probably would have moved that down a little more if I had the choice, but here we go. Oh, and the inside. Let's do an inside. Let's stamp some flowers on the inside piece. Just a little bit to make it decorative. This one we can do flat. We don't have to rock because it's flat. And a couple of pink ones. I do like the Petunia Pop. I think it's probably, if not my very favorite of the new in colors from last year, it's right up there. And then a couple of, and there we go. Actually, maybe I should have done another summer splash, but it's okay. It's okay. All right. We'll glue that on the inside, use our tape. And that will lighten so that it matches our Petunia Pop cardstock. Right. And there's card number 2. Nice little birthday card. We used the simple stamp, but all the rest was so a little bit over the top, so I think it works. Okay, card number 3. This is where we're really going to use the scraps. Oh, I found my other sample. There it is. It was underneath the first one. So that one I did the shape a little bit different. Again, you can do whatever shape you like. Okay, now card number 3. This one is the real strip of scraps. I had some melon mambo, granny apple green, and white 1/2 inch strips, and these strips were left from when I cut a mat. When I cut a mat to go on the top of my card, like this granny apple green, the way it works out, they're 1/2 inch strips left over. And so I have a whole bunch of those, and a lot of them I throw away, but I decided that I'm going to use them. So now I have a little place where I put my strips, but I'm going to do the pattern a little bit different on the next one. All right. I cut some extra, but I can't decide if I want a melon mambo panel mat or if I want granny apple green. So be thinking about that. We're going to do that. I am going to go ahead and stamp the white piece with the granny apple green. Thanks, Sherry. I thought it was kind of fun, just a different sort of thing. I'm going to stamp I didn't forget your birthday, and I figured this was a nice bright card so that, you know, I make up for being late, right? Okay, so I've got my sentiment. Now I have all of these strips. Literally, that's what I had. So, let me show you that. And put those there. Now, we could easily, or very not easily, think about these colors right here, very not easily glue those strips on one by one, which would be kind of torturous for you to watch, for me to do. So and then you all know that I like to conserve paper, and I decided to cut the granny apple green out of my panel, which I did, but for this particular situation, I should have cut it in the middle. I should have done it down the middle. Luckily, I still have enough room around that edge, so my white, I didn't have to use another piece, but after I cut it, I was like, oh no, but my white panel covers it. So, whew, thank goodness. Okay, now for this one, I'm going to, wait, this one I started in my corner and I just went across. I started with a small piece, then another one, then another one, then another one, and they're gonna go off, okay? For this one, I'm gonna start over here and work my way backwards because I'm gonna leave part of it white. I'm going to see how that looks. We can always add more if we want to, but I'm going to start right about here and just do my strips this way. So to do this, I'm just going to put the liquid glue right around the edge. Let's see. Let's just make our line like right about there. We can, like I said, we can always add more. We can do more. So I've got my glue in this space. I'm going to have to work a little bit quick because my glue will dry. Okay, so let's start with, you just have to make sure that your strip goes all the way across so that we can cut off the edges. And we're going to put those along, and then, let's see, I might need a little bit more right through here. Can you see that I've just got the glue right on there? Okay, so then we're going to go back to granny apple green. Don't worry about the excess. Just make sure that your piece covers that whole white panel. Make sure it goes all the way off. And then butt it right up against the edge there. And then we'll do some white. That white is not long enough because it doesn't cover the whole thing. So you could also just not do a white strip, but this helps me keep my placeholder every 1/2 inch. Okay, goes off the side. Then we go back to pink. Again, this pink's not long enough, so we're going to start with the next pink. Okay, green, granny apple green. Can I use this one yet? Nope, still not long enough. Okay. I might have to trim some, just to be sure. Green. White. Now I can start using my smaller pieces. Just make sure that that corner goes all the way to the edge of your card. Like that. Back to pink. And then you're wondering, well, what am I going to do with all this extra? We are either going to flip it over and trim it with scissors, or we can put it into our paper trimmer and do it that way. We'll see how that works out for us. Green, white, and look at that. There's going to be a tiny, tiny little triangle of pink in the corner of the melon mambo. So I want to make sure that I glue that really well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and trim a little piece of that. Just like that. Whoop. Stuck to my finger instead of the card. There we go. So it's all on there. I'm going to go ahead and trim it. Worst thing that happens is we add some more strips over here, but I think we're going to like it. I'm just going to flip it over, and you can see where the edges are. So we're going to just trim it. Make sure that this line is along your cutting edge. Hold it down. And trim off those extra pieces. So I can still use these for some more cards. Okay. They might be the small pieces, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so that side is level. We're going to do this side. Now we can actually put it up against the edge of our piece at the top so that it is an even cut. Okay, so we got that side and that side. Oh, no, I can't do it that way. I'll have to do it from the bottom to get it to be flat. And I just put a brand new blade in my cutter, so it's working quite well. And then we've got this side. Trim all those pieces off. So my little triangles, I think, have some glue on them. That's okay. All right, so now we have just the stripes. Now let's see. I was going to do here's my piece. I'm thinking about this. This is a different model than I had last time. Or if I want to, okay, what do you think? Should I go ahead and finish the stripes, or should I do it so that maybe I should have stopped one more up so it was a little bit of a thing? So should I finish the stripes? Should I add some more, or should I stop there? We could also, this would have been fun to stamp words right here. Like to stamp the happy birthday right here, just like that. But, all right, what do you think? Does anybody have an opinion? I love opinions most of the time. We could do it, a happy birthday. Okay, so this is my thought. This is my thought. Leave it like this? Okay, you're my first answer. All right, now, next question. Next question, should I do my little extension to be pink, or should I do it to be Granny Apple Green? Which might be Granny Apple Green. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to extend it. Actually, let me show you how I'm going to do this, because they are the same size. The white and the green are the exact same size. Let me see how this looks. I'm going to see how this looks, because I'm afraid I didn't leave enough space right here. So I'm going to trim this. I'm going to trim this right in half. Okay, we're going to trim it right in half, and I'm going to extend the ends like this. Okay, I'm going to extend it a little bit, just like that, and I'm going to glue it. I'm going to go ahead with the Granny Apple Green, I think. I'm going to put it on the ends. Like that. I'll scoot it down just a little bit. There's no, you can make it as long as you want. I don't want it to be too long, actually. Oh, goodness. We might have to extend our stripes. I dropped it with the glue. And then just make sure that your other end is the same length. Okay. Now if you get it a little crooked, that's okay. Just trim it along. It should be fine. All right. All right, so there it is, sort of with the, I don't know, I think I'm going to, finish my stripes I think I stopped too far over. So let's go ahead and finish those. And I have glue down there, so I don't want it to be sticky. Okay, so I need a white. This will be really quick. Need a white. And then a green. Let's see. Okay. Woo! My fingers are sticky from the glue. Pink. Yep. And then a white. Make sure my corner is covered. All right, this could be any colors. If you make mats for your cards, this is perfect. The 1/2 inch is perfect. We could also have done a V. We could have done various shapes. Maybe next time I'll do a different shape just to show you where it's not just stripes. All right, then I have this little triangle. So guess what? I'm going to be very careful. Put a little glue right there. And we're going to make a tiny, tiny little triangle of green. Hopefully this works. Okay, that's a little... Whew, okay. Then let's trim it off. In my head, I thought I only wanted to do it halfway, so I think I just went too far. But that's okay. There's no right, no wrong. And anybody who didn't watch the video doesn't even know what we were doing, right? They don't know that it was supposed to be. So look at all these triangles. We're gonna cut these off. Just like that. All right, so now I've got that tiny little triangle down there. We'll get our guy on here, put him right in the middle, the sentiment. But I love Granny Apple Green and Melon Mambo together. I thought they're fun colors. They're not like apple and, like red apple and green. They're pink and green, and I think it's fun. All right, yeah, I like the extended label too. It needed just a little bit, and that's what you can do on most anything. If your label or your punch are the same size, you can extend it pretty easily, just like that. Guess I should have glued this piece on too. Let's put this on dimensionals too. I'm gonna use around the edges. If you haven't watched, I don't have it on my Facebook page, but I do have 2 fun fold videos over on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So if you Google my name on there or search my name on there, you can see those. One's a fun step fold, and the other one is a bridge fold. That one's not a new fold, but it's a fun one that I haven't done in a long time. So be sure to check those out as well. On the card front, got this ready, and then I know everyone's going to be super surprised by this, but I am going to tie a bow. I'm going to use that ribbon again, something that was just out on my desk. I'm going to tie a bow. Wish me luck. I did it the first time on my practice one, so hopefully I can do it right now. Look at me, I'm almost there. Like, I get an award for today, I think, that I got it almost done. Snip that off. We'll attach that with a glue dot. I had to bring all my stuff over here, all my supplies over to the counter. Oh my goodness. Luckily, she's only using it for a few days, so I can get my table reset. And then there we have it. Now let's add the bling. We're going to go ahead and use these gems again. I'm going to go with several. Let's go with 5 this time. So here we have our scrap cards. We've got our strips of scrap cardstock. We have our designer series paper that was in a strip that I just cut into squares. And then I have the 2-inch strip that I sat down. Goodness gracious. There it is. Where I just used a strip of it to make the front of the card a decoration, and that helps use all those scraps that you have in your cardstock bag and your whatever that you have, whatever you keep your paper in. So thank you all for joining me today. Don't forget the Stampin' Rewards is live. So for every $20, when you place an order of $20 or more, you are going to get rewards for the next time you shop. So that's a great new addition to the Stampin' Up! World. So I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining me. Have a happy Easter, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.